Let me be honest with you right now. Most men are completely oblivious to what's happening right in front of their face. Literally. And I mean that in the most literal way possible. Because today I'm going to talk about eyes. Not the generic she-held eye contact advice you've heard 1,000 times. I'm talking about specific, precise eye behaviors that women do when something has already shifted inside them. When the decision has been made, even if she hasn't said a single word about it. And here's the part that's going to sting a little. Research from the University of Aberdeen found that eye behavior is one of the most honest communication systems in the human body. Unlike words, which can be crafted and controlled, the eyes respond neurologically to emotional states before the conscious mind has a chance to intervene. In other words, her eyes will tell you what she's feeling before she even knows she feels it. So if you've been waiting for a woman to give you a clear verbal signal, you've been waiting for the wrong thing. I'm going to walk you through 8 specific eye behaviors that tell you, with near certainty, that a woman is already interested in you. And I'll tell you this now. Sign number 7 is the one that most men catastrophically misread. They see it and think she's uninterested. But what it actually means is the complete opposite. So stay with me, because that one alone could change everything. Let's get into it. Sign number 1, the slow blink. You know how cats slow blink at people they feel completely safe with? Turns out humans do something remarkably similar. When a woman blinks slowly while looking at you, not a fast, distracted blink, but a long, deliberate one, her nervous system is doing something very specific. It's signaling safety, warmth, the absence of threat. Dr. Alan Hirsch, a neurologist who has spent decades studying sensory responses, has pointed out that slow blinking in social interactions is a physiological indicator of relaxation and positive emotional engagement. The body is essentially saying, I want to stay in this moment. Here's the difference to watch for. A fast blink is neutral. It's just moisture. But when she's looking at you and the blink is slow, almost intentional, and she comes back with soft eyes still focused on your face, that's not accidental. That's her body saying it feels good to look at you. And here's something I'll tell you from a female perspective. When I've done this around someone I'm drawn to, I didn't plan it. It just happens. It's one of those things your body does before your brain catches up. Sign number 2, the triangle gaze. This one sounds technical, but once you know it, you'll see it everywhere. The triangle gaze is when a woman's eyes move in a subtle triangular pattern, from your left eye to your right eye and then briefly down to your mouth before coming back up. Research published in the journal Psychological Science found that this specific eye movement pattern increases significantly during interactions where emotional or physical attraction is present. It's essentially the face doing what the mind is thinking. She's looking at your eyes because she's engaging with you emotionally. And she's looking at your mouth because on some level, her brain is already processing proximity. If you notice this happening, it is not a coincidence. It is not her checking if you have spinach in your teeth. The triangle gaze is one of the clearest neurological signals that attraction is active. Sign number 3, she looks at you right after something funny happens. This is one of my favorite signals and almost no one talks about it. Think about what happens in a group setting when something funny or surprising occurs. Everyone laughs. But in that moment of laughter, people instinctively look at the person they feel most connected to. It's automatic. It's your brain seeking emotional confirmation from the person who matters most in the room. So if you're in a group, something hilarious happens, and before she's even finished laughing, she looks directly at you. You are that person. You are the one her nervous system turned to first. I can't tell you how many times I've done this without realizing it until seconds later. It's one of the most revealing things you can do, and it's completely involuntary. Sign number 4, her pupils are larger than normal. You might not be able to tell this in a dimly lit bar, but in natural lighting, it's surprisingly visible. And importantly, this response cannot be consciously controlled. You cannot decide to dilate your pupils. Your brain does it automatically in response to desire. And importantly, this response cannot be consciously controlled. You cannot decide to dilate your pupils. Your brain does it automatically in response to desire. So if you're in a well-lit environment, you're close enough to notice, and her pupils seem unusually large for the lighting conditions. That is raw biology communicating directly to you. It's one of the few signals that has zero ambiguity. The body doesn't lie. Sign number 5, she mirrors your blink rate. This one is subtle but fascinating. Research in behavioral synchrony has found that blink rate synchronization happens between people who are emotionally connected. We match the person we feel attuned to, almost like an unconscious way of saying, I'm with you, I'm on your frequency. You don't need to consciously monitor this. But if you ever notice that a conversation feels unusually smooth, unusually in sync, there's a real possibility that physical mirroring, including blink rates, is happening beneath the surface. And it doesn't happen between two people who are indifferent. Sign number 6. She looks at you from under her lashes. This is one of the oldest courtship signals documented in human behavior research. When a woman tilts her chin slightly down and looks up at you from beneath her lashes, she is doing something that evolutionary psychologists describe as a submission attraction display. It simultaneously signals vulnerability and engagement. Body language expert Joe Navarro has noted this specific gaze as one of the most consistent cross-cultural indicators of romantic interest. It shows up across cultures, across centuries, in paintings and photographs going back hundreds of years. If she's doing this, that is not a coincidence. That is ancient biology doing exactly what it was designed to do. Sign number 7. She looks away first, but then looks back. Here it is, the one that destroys most men. A woman looks at you. Your eyes meet. She looks away. Most men interpret this as rejection. They think, she's not interested, she broke eye contact, she's uncomfortable, and they do nothing. They miss the signal entirely. But here's what's actually happening, and I need you to hear this clearly. Breaking eye contact first is often a sign of heightened emotional response, not disinterest. When attraction hits the nervous system, it creates a spike of self-consciousness, and the first instinct is to break eye contact to manage that surge. The key, and this is everything, is what happens next. Does she look back? If she looks back at you within a few seconds, that is one of the most reliable attraction signals in existence. Monica Moore found this was among the top 5 signals preceding successful courtship. She looked away because you got to her. She looked back because she couldn't help it. If you see this, don't overthink it. That's your green light. Sign number 8. Sustained eye contact. That's slightly too long. Most people maintain eye contact for around 3 seconds during normal conversation before breaking away. It's a social norm so ingrained that we do it automatically. When a woman holds your gaze for longer than that, not in an uncomfortable way, but in a warm, present way, she's creating intentional connection. She's choosing to stay in that moment with you, rather than following the standard pattern. Research from Sarah Rubin and Arthur Aaron found that prolonged mutual gaze is one of the fastest ways to build feelings of closeness. Their study found that eye contact duration was directly correlated with perceived intimacy. So if she's holding your gaze a beat longer than normal, and she's smiling, or soft, or just there, don't look away and don't freeze. Stay in it. Return it. Because at that moment, the entire conversation is happening in silence. Here's what all of these signals have in common. Not a single one involves words. Women have been communicating desire through eye behavior for thousands of years. Now that you know what to look for, you have a responsibility to pay attention. Because the woman who's already decided she wants you, she's already told you, you just needed to learn the language. And if understanding her eyes is the first step, the next thing is what she actually wants you to do about it. Reading signals is only half the equation. There is a specific type of sentence, not a pickup line, not a compliment, that does something extraordinary inside a woman's brain. It creates an emotional response she can't quite name. She'll feel like, I don't know, he just got me. Today I'm going to tell you exactly what those phrases are, why they work on a neurological level, and how to use them naturally. And phrase number 6 is the one that creates an almost unfair level of emotional connection. Most men will never say it. By the end, you will. Phrase number 1, I noticed that about you. 4 words, enormous impact. Here's the psychology. A fundamental human need, according to Abraham Maslow, is the need to feel seen. Not just physically, but as a specific individual. Most conversations operate on the surface, generic, forgettable. When you tell a woman, I noticed that about you, and you follow it with something genuine about her personality, you've done something that almost no one else does. You've signaled that you were paying attention. Dr. John Gottman found that one of the core predictors of deep emotional connection is what he called knowing, the sense that your partner has genuinely observed and understood who you are. You can create that feeling in a single sentence. It implies observation, memory, and attention. Phrase number 2. That makes sense, actually. This one is almost embarrassingly simple, but let me explain why it works. Women are often socialized to expect their thoughts to be minimized or explained away in conversations with men. The default male response is frequently to problem solve or redirect. That makes sense actually does the opposite. It validates. It signals that you heard her, processed it, and found it reasonable. Not crazy, not too much. Research on validation consistently finds that feeling understood is one of the primary drivers of emotional safety, and emotional safety is the foundation. When your response is genuine validation, something in her nervous system relaxes. She becomes more open, more present. Phrase number 3, tell me more about that. The average person is waiting for their turn to talk. The rare person is actually listening and wants to go deeper. When you say, tell me more, you are demonstrating genuine curiosity about her interior world. Research on self-disclosure and attraction found that asking questions that invite deeper sharing accelerates emotional closeness significantly. It signals that you're not in a hurry to get to the next topic. You're present. You want her specifically. That is incredibly attractive. Phrase number 4, I've been thinking about what you said. This one requires you to actually mean it, but when you do, when you return to a previous conversation, it communicates something profound. You stayed with me after we stopped talking. The emotional weight comes from what it implies. She mattered enough to occupy your thoughts after she was gone. Not your physical attraction, her words, her mind. Feeling that someone carries you with them is one of the most powerful accelerators of intimacy. It signals investment. Phrase number 5, you seem like someone who... This phrase is a mirror. And mirrors are deeply intimate. When you accurately reflect something back to a person about their character, you create a moment of being truly seen. It creates dialogue and engagement. Behavioral psychologists studying empathy have found that accurately identifying a person's internal qualities creates a strong sense of resonance. It's the feeling of, how did you know that? The answer is that you were paying attention, and that is what she's looking for. Phrase number 6. I don't say this to a lot of people, but here it is. And let me be clear, this only works when it's true. When you're about to share something real, a vulnerability that you genuinely don't broadcast. You're granting her access to a part of you that most people don't reach. You're creating exclusivity, the sense that this moment is not generic. It is specific to the two of you. When a man says something like this and follows it with something real, it creates immediate emotional intimacy. It gives her permission to go deeper herself. The vulnerability creates safety. Phrase number 7. I'm glad I talked to you tonight. Simple, direct. And one of the most powerful things you can say at the end of a conversation. Most men say nothing about it. They default to something neutral like, it was nice meeting you, and move on. This names the experience. It says, this mattered. Research on affirmation shows that explicitly naming a positive shared experience significantly increases emotional engagement and memory. You're being specific and real. This was worth something to me. That's an extraordinary thing to hear. And she will remember it. Here's the truth about all 7 of these phrases. They are not lines. They are what genuine attention sounds like out loud. The man who actually notices and listens will always have an advantage. Women are sensitive to the quality of a man's attention, not his performance, his presence. Now that you know the words, will you actually mean them?